Women hot.
And coffee.
Oh, cold coffee.
Cold coffee. Okay.
All right, 5 on the hands. Here we go. All right, Awesemo, here we are. It's your old pal EMac getting ready for a nap. We've been up since the crack of dawn. Me, because I had content to do. Max, because he has kids. But we are starting things off here. 3-hour block of content coming at you with the NBA deeper dive following us, and then NBA live before lock. The sports slate is loaded today. We had MMA last night. I had some nice lineups there. That was a good night for me. We got NASCAR this afternoon. We have NHL, MLB, NBA. Feel like I'm missing something here. Max, what's going on?
Golf's going on too. PGA Championship.
Oh, PGA. Yeah, I had to make my late round lineups.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I got some stuff going on as well. MMA was kind to us last night. Thank you, Alex, for your top fighters tool. Always makes us money. So let's get into baseball.
It is that time. We're going to jump on in. We have 10 games today for our slate. So we're going to want to move through this relatively quickly. We do, of course, have a hard stop here so we can get on out for the basketball shows following us. We don't have the starting lineups yet, but some of those may start to trickle in as we're coming. Well, I said we don't have starting lineups. We have Cincinnati's starting lineup. I always say Cincinnati could probably tell us what their starting lineup is going to be on the 5th game of next year, because they get theirs out earlier than anybody ever consistently. But that one is one we'll get to here shortly. Today, we're sponsored by Odds Shopper. That is the Awesemo sister site that takes care of getting you the best odds and lines at any sports wagering site that we are affiliated with. You can always help us out by joining those sites, coming in through our links. We get a little something on the back end, and those links directly take you to their site with whatever their current best offer is for new signups. If you're seeing the bet 1 to win 100 and all those fun ones that are airing in Virginia now, or on local Twitter, since we just came online with sports betting, those are not the best offers. Those are the offers to get people to come in. We got the real offer, good stuff for you. So we do all the heavy lifting to figure that out. But check that out via Odds Shopper, the Awesemo sister site. Weather, not a whole lot. Relatively warm in most places. Little bit of clouds here and there. Potential roving storms in Kansas City, but nothing that should postpone any of our games. So let's jump right in here. Our first one, we've got Dallas Keuchel going into New York, taking on your Yankees with Jameson Taillon on the other side. What do you got for us, Max?
The wind is blowing out towards the short porch. But the problem is that Keuchel...
There's no lefties.
No, the Keuchel is like the ground ball dude. Gotcha. You know, 2.6 launch angle allowed in 165 batted ball events this year. Everything is on the ground, but he's also allowing an X slugging of 506. So when people do hit the ball in the air, it goes very far. So yeah, I mean, I like the Yankees today. I have no idea what their starting lineup would be. I'm assuming all the regular guys will be in there. If for some reason they come up with the Sunday rest all the good players lineup, maybe I'll be less on them. But they're also only projected to be 7% owned today in our top stacks tool, which is nice. It's almost like the same as their top stack percentage today, which is 6.7. So I like the Yankees. I think it's a stack that can bust just because Keuchel can just give you a million ground balls. And when you hit them with infielders, they usually go for outs. So that's not great. So for me, it's like a stack or miss. I really don't want one-offs here because I don't want to try and see which guy here goes yard. I'm just hoping Keuchel doesn't have it today, throws a million home runs, and then the Yankees win you the slate.
All right, going against Jameson Taillon here, we do have the Chicago White Sox lineup. That is the other one that is out in addition to the Cincinnati Reds. We've got, let's see, Tim Anderson here, Jake Lamb coming in at a discount on DK 3,600. However, that is a price tag he has definitely earned. It's been a couple years since he's been particularly effective, but he is batting second and has multi-position eligibility going against Taillon. You have Jose Abreu, who hits the ball very, very far against everyone. And then Herman Mercedes, who is way better than advertised. He's going to have some negative regression at some point, or regression to the mean, back to the mere mortal status. But I'm kind of liking this White Sox lineup against Taillon.
Yeah, the Taillon has like really glaring splits, like way worse versus left-handers. So for me, like the problem with the White Sox, and I think the reason they only have a 4.2 run total in an 85-degree game with the wind blowing out, is that they don't have very many good left-handed hitters. Like they put Jake Lamb in there just because he's hitting from the left side of a plate, but he's not any good is the problem. For me, it's like Moncada is interesting. Like I never play Adam Eaton. Like he's 4.5K, doesn't really have the power that you want. Grandal at 3.7K is very interesting for your catcher spot. Way too cheap.
Such a slump though right now.
Yeah, but like if we look at his expected stats, let's just look really quick.
Yeah, sell me on the good stuff, because he's weighing down most of my season long weeks.
Yeah, the expected stuff is great. Like 54.5% hard hits. His average exit velocity is 93.8. Those are all way above average. His xWOBA is 381. The slugging isn't really there right now, but he's also drawing 30% walks this year, which is really nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting him to start hitting the ball a little bit harder in the air. Like his launch angle at 15 degrees is fine. That's like a line drive angle. So I'm assuming he's just getting super unlucky, and that's why he's had such a bad year.
All right, I'm hoping he recovers. We can't let things bias us too much on such a good hitter. And again, he was always better from left side of the plate.
Yeah.
But now he's over the last couple of years, as he wrapped up his time with the Dodgers and then moved on to Milwaukee, definitely improved from the right side as well. So he is a complete hitter. And just, I mean, not that this has anything to do with season longs, but he's one of the guys that I targeted because he is like having a first baseman at the catcher spot, right?
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to overdraft him in those situations, but if he's falling to you in those types of things, you grab someone like that. And then who knew that Mercedes was going to be amazing as well. I don't think the White Sox even were aware of that one. But let's continue on here. Our next game, we have a couple pitchers that I suspect you may have a little bit of interest in. We're going to be paying a little bit here for Eduardo Rodriguez at 10,400 on DK and Zach Wheeler at 11,200. But we do have some cheap pitchers that we'll talk about going forward. It's going to be in the mid 80s today in Philadelphia, a little bit of humidity, and we do have a breeze blowing in 8 to 10 miles an hour from left field. It'll be interesting to see if Alex Verdugo is in the lineup. He's missed the last couple of games. I'm also curious to see if they give JD Martinez the day off, considering it is a day game after a night game. And while he is fully capable of playing either corner outfield positions, what is he? This is age 33 or 34 season. So it wouldn't shock me if he got the day off. In this one, difficult matchup against Wheeler. So if he's out of the lineup, that would boost Wheeler for me as well a bit more. What are you liking from this one? I'm assuming it's going to be the pitchers. Yeah,
Wheeler is really interesting. Only projected to be 13% owned.
That slider's sliding this year, though.
Yeah, and he's striking people out, actually. Like his fastball has always been really good, 97, 98. He's throwing the slider more. All his expected stats are really good. Only 34% hard hits. xWOBA giving up 268, x slugging 336. The problem is the Red Sox lineup, right? Like the Red Sox lineup is really, really good. They're very patient. They don't give up. They walk a ton. Yeah, I mean, if JD's out for some reason and Verdugo's out, that makes them way more interesting. 11.2K is steep. But I think he's a really nice contrarian option when going like versus like a Freddie Peralta, who's the stone chalk today.
All right. I cannot in good conscience recommend any hitters. Do you feel this is too much of a price tag for Rodriguez?
Yeah, he's just not the guy that's going to give you like a game that will win you a GPP, right? Like at this price, I should say. Like if he was 7K, he can give you like, I guess, a max of like 28 or something. But he's not a strikeout guy, like only 25%. That's pretty much average. He's giving up like X slugging of 406. So he's giving up some power. I think he's given up a little bit on his fastball, a little bit miles per hour to just walk less guys. his walk rate is excellent, only 4%. So this is a guy that used to struggle with walks early in his career when he used to throw harder. So he's a really good real life pitcher, but I'm really not interested with him at like 9Ks and 10Ks on DK in DFS.
All right, then let's continue along here. I just remembered what that other sport is. Locking in 50 minutes, 50 minutes is EPL. It's everybody playing at 11 today, and I registered for some contests. Fortunately, we've got the Awesemo tools, and with Fantasy Cruncher, I'm going to be able to behind the scenes upload my lineups here. But that was a misstep on my part. I thought, I'll be up early taking care of stuff, forgetting that I had to do all this content and the earlier show. So that is one of the many benefits we have with the full package Awesemo Premium. You also get literally pretty much anything that is a DFS sport we've got content for. And even if it's one of those more obscure sports, we have our premium Slack channel with lots of contributors, as well as big fans amongst our members who are always happy to share their knowledge. So that's something that's very, very helpful for all of us, especially me when I'm multitasking. Speaking of multitasking, we've got the Washington Nationals taking on the one and only Dark Knight. It is Matt Harvey. This one feels like another time we want to target against Harvey. It's going to be warm and humid in Nationals Park today. Matt Harvey somehow has not allowed a home run in his last 2 starts. Is that correct? However, he's lasted just 6 innings in those, allowing 13 earned runs, 17 base runners, and 5 strikeouts. It gets worse. The game prior to that, he didn't allow an earned run, but he allowed 4 runs. So his numbers are even worse than you could possibly imagine here. We've got Trey Turner and Juan Soto who are always in play, but we can look to the switch hitting Josh Bell, who is finally rounding into form along with Kyle Schwarber. You want a little bit of a full stack, go with Starlin Castro, or maybe look to Victor Robles. He's a little bit dinged up, but he should be batting 9th today. For some reason, the Nationals have decided to bat their pitcher 8th this year. So they're making the wraparound stacks much easier for us under the National League rules. But why are you batting your pitcher 8th? I don't know. In any event, I bring you the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, Harvey got smoked in his last start versus Tampa. He actually gave up 2 home runs in that start. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like.
Oh, sorry, I got my notes confused. We'll get to him. It's Fulte who hasn't allowed a home run in his last 2 starts.
XFIP of 11 for Harvey in his last start. You don't see the double-digit XFIPs usually. Like, you can see double-digit ERAs a lot of the times, but when your expected stats are double digits, it's not great. I mean, the Nats are your stone chalk today, right? Like, they have the worst leverage score in our top stacks tool. That's usually when I want to go under on a team. But Harvey is so bad. It just depends for me, like, what the Nationals lineup looks like. If Soto and Bell and Schwarber are in there, those are the 3 guys I want to play along with Trey Turner. I'm really not high on Castro and Harrison just because the power upside isn't there for those 2. But I do like Yan Gomes. He's kind of having a resurgent year this year. Let's see, his expected stats are actually really, really good. Yeah, like his expected slugging is 507. That's really nice. Only striking out 15% of the time. xWOBA of 356. So yeah, those are the 5 guys I'm interested in. If I'm building the stack, it's the 3 lefties in the middle of the lineup, Trey Turner and Yan Gomes.
All right, that makes it relatively easy. On the other side, we do have Baltimore going against Patrick Corbin. Mixed results this year from Corbin. As a Nationals fan, I don't mind him on the team, but he doesn't exactly inspire a lot of confidence these days here. If I'm going to target against him, I definitely want Mancini. I don't hate Severino if he's behind the dish. And then Ryan Mountcastle, it's like, hey, let's drop him a little bit in the order, so he can relax and revamp his approach at the plate. And now he's hitting home runs again. So go with Mountcastle maybe on this one. How do you feel about a full stack of the batters of Birdland?
It's like they just don't have enough good hitters really to like warrant a full stack. But I love Austin Hayes. Like, you didn't mention him, but his expected stuff is really nice. 512 x slugging. He's a guy that will steal a couple bases if he can. Nice young player there. So yeah, my guys from the Nats, from the Orioles are probably Hayes, Mountcastle, and Mancini's just having an insane year, like an MVP type season. So yeah, I mean Corbin's stats actually look worse than Matt Harvey's if you can believe that. X slugging of 535, only striking out 18% of batters and walking 9%. It's not very good. And I really like Orioles in matchups like this where it's not somebody that's going to blow them away because they do strike out a bunch. Hopefully they don't swing and miss at that slider that he throws because that's really his only effective pitch. Yeah, I mean Mancini, Hayes, and then Mountcastle, and I guess you can fill it in with like a Franco and maybe a Valaika. I don't know. I guess Severino's having a really down year from last year. His expected stats aren't very good, but we did see him have a really nice season last year, so maybe that'll resurge at some point.
All right. Anything else from this game?
Nah, just hitters. No pitching here. 82 degrees. This park plays small when it's hot.
Absolutely. All right. On to our next one. Speaking of ballparks that play small, this one is small. We're back at Toronto. No, not Toronto, Canada. We're in Florida at the Toronto Spring Training Facility here. We have, by the way, the local high school team uses this as their home field. Go Falcons. It's an interesting spot here. At some point, they're going to move. The plan is anyway to move up towards their Buffalo facility where they played last year as the weather gets a little bit nicer. But in the meantime, they are enjoying the warm weather in Florida. What are you liking here in this one? We have Michael Wacha taking the mound. I would consider him if this was in Tropicana Field. However, this one is in the smaller ballpark, so I'm not overly excited.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you thinking on this game?
I mean, my dogs don't want me to play Wacha, obviously. So yeah, I mean the Blue Jays are very, very good. And the problem for Wacha is he's a reverse splits guy. So a million righties in the Blue Jays lineup is actually really bad for him. His expected stats are also really bad. X slugging of 597 EMac. 597.
Ouch.
Yeah, not good. X Swoba giving up 400. This is like Troutian type numbers that he's giving up this year. Launch angle of 15 degrees, like everything is a line drive or a fly ball. This just seems like such a bad spot for Wacha. So for me, like Toronto is one of my favorite stacks today. We don't have them projected to be that owned, only 6.8%. They're projected to be our third top stack, 7.5%. But I think that's even probably higher. The problem is the Rays have a good bullpen, but I think if they get to Wacha, they're probably going to get the long inning, the long relief guys, and those are never any good on any team. So depending on what this lineup looks like, we don't know what this lineup looks like yet, but if they're playing, the Vladdies, the Teoscars, the Bows, and the Grichuks, just give me all the right-handed power from the Blue Jays today.
All right. That one, it sort of handles itself. Not too much to add there. Oh, we did get the Yankees lineup here. We'll look at that in just a sec. Guys, I'm intrigued. But what do you think about Mike Zunino? He has just been hitting when he connects, the ball goes very, very far. He does not connect that often, but his proportion for home runs to hits is pretty damn high.
I have been touting Zunino all year, so this is a feather in my cap that you bring him up because his launch angle is so perfect for home runs. He's somehow like all these Tampa guys have insane launch angles for home runs. They all strike out a bunch, like they're third in the league in strikeouts. But when they make contact, it goes very, very far. And Zunino is the prototypical example. I'm going to get that right on the third try. His X slugging is 627, and his exit velocity is 91 on average. These are all very good numbers. Of course, he strikes out 36.5% of the time. But against Ryu, he doesn't give up too much power is the problem. Only 33% hard hits. This is a guy that throws a million different angles, has a lot of pitches that break. So I like Zunino against fastball guys, right? That he can predict and just swing for the fences. Ryu is actually in a pretty decent spot here with the Tampa strikeout rate at what it is. The problem is the price, right? He's a little bit overpriced for what he brings to the table. Where would he have him at as far as ownership? He should be low owned today. I don't even see him here. Am I missing him, EMac?
I do not have that tab open.
Yeah, for some reason
I'm looking at Odd Shopper right now for what it's worth.
For some reason, he's not in our top pitcher stool. So we'll add him. I'm assuming he's going to be towards the top. Yeah, I would play the pitching here instead of the hitting when it comes to Ryu, just because of the Tampa strikeout rate and the fact that he mitigates power.
When we get the top stacks tool up here, we'll get the top pitching tool open so we can.
This is a great lineup for the Yankees, by the way.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of cruising back to. We've got no real Sunday lineup. You got Gleyber Torres batting fifth. He's been okay coming out.
Picking it up finally.
Yeah, the COVID protocol. Maybe he just need a little time to clear his head. He's only 3,500 on DK. You got Gio Urshela coming in at 3,700. Of course, you got the big boppers in Aaron Judge. And then you have Luke Voigt. Finally, you get to play him against the lefty. That seems pretty solid. You got Andy Har, Clint Frazier. Circling back on this one, how do you feel about more of a full stack going against Keuchel?
Oh, yeah, definitely a full stack. I would not try and figure out which guy is going to get the ball in the air versus a ground baller like Keuchel. Just stack him and hope he doesn't have it. Again, you don't really need to hit it that hard here today in this weather with the wind blowing out. Like a 340-foot flat ball towards that short porch is going to be a home run. Yeah, I love the Yankees here. I would play Gary's actually really interesting versus a guy that's not going to strike him out. So like a Gary, Gleyber, Judge, Voigt. I usually never play Urshela just because he's such a ground ball machine. He doesn't really put the ball in the air too much. But in the middle of the stack at 3.7K, I don't mind him. So for me, the optimal stack is 2 through 6.
Okay. All right, back to our other games. Just touching base again on the Rays Toronto. Nothing else that we needed to mention. I think we cleaned up everything there. Correct?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just wouldn't play any of these Tampa power hitters versus a guy like Rio. Just not a lot of upside in them.
All right, now we're on to the Twins at Cleveland. I darn near fell out of my chair when I saw Zach Plesac was 10,100 today on DraftKings.
Yeah, his 70% strikeout rate is not a 10K strikeout.
No, and even if Polanco and Cruz end up not playing today, they're both a little bit banged up. I still don't want to pay that lofty price point. I'd rather go to Wheeler. I'd rather find another $400, go to Freddie Peralta. I dip on down, 3,500 and go to Luis Castillo. Plenty of other options here outside of Plesac. That said, I really don't want to target against him. The only guys that I'm really interested in would be Kepler or Kirilloff on DK because they're cheap. Luis Arias probably will be leading off. He is like at a bargain basement salary. He just doesn't do anything besides get on base, which doesn't really rack up the fantasy points for us. On the other side, we have J.A. Happ. We can target against him with some power. Feels like we're going to look towards the Cleveland hitters today. What is your read on this game, Zach?
Plesac just.
I was going to call you Zach. It's
like,
no, it's Zach Plesac. It's Max. DFS Max, if you want to get all formal.
Plesac is like another one of these guys that we talk about, right? A way better real life pitcher than he's DFS pitcher. Just like a guy that limits fly balls, limits line drives, only his launch angle given only 8 degrees. So a lot of balls on the ground, but 17% strikeout rate is just not what you need to win your GPP. And 10K is way too steep a price. So definitely cross him off the list for GPPs. For the Twins, I love Kirilloff, but I don't know if this is the guy you want to target really. The park the Indians play in is not very conducive to power. So I think the Twins are a pass for me. I do really like the Cleveland hitters here because J.A. Happ is just so bad. Just another guy that's giving up 484 X slugging. Everything is in the air. The launch angle is 15 degrees. X Woba 347. Only 13% strikeouts, not going to strike you out. And, we have my boy, Franmil Reyes here, who's just crushing the ball all year. And, why is he not in the projected lineup? Did he get hurt or something?
Sorry, who was that?
Reyes, Franmil. I thought he was playing
he did. He actually did. He's dated. I was setting my team lineups this morning. He's day-to-day.
I had him like a couple of days ago when he hit a home run. So he must have.
I think he got a home run yesterday too before he left the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's not in the lineup. We just got the Cleveland lineup right on time. So Ramirez is interesting, 5.6K. You're going to pay for him. Luplo is only 3.6K. This is like their platoon guy versus lefties. 457X slugging. I would definitely play him at that price. Owen Miller at second base.
Who is that? He's the flat minimum.
Yeah. I don't know who he is. I hate to say that as the expert on this show. But I like Harold Ramirez at 2.6K as well. This is a guy that has really nice power, a little pop. Also is going to steal you a couple bases if he gets on base. So I like the Ramirez's and Luplo here. And I guess I never hate a guy at 2K at second base going against Hap.
That's it. All I can think of is, and no one's going to know this movie reference, Throw Mama from the Train. Yeah, it's going to. Steve, you remember this movie. Steve's got
it. Is that the Stallone movie?
Oh God, no, that's Stop or My Mother Will Shoot.
There you go.
Yeah, I've actually not seen that one intentionally. No, this was Billy Crystal, Danny DeVito, and
Danny DeVito. I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah.
It was a play on. I can't think of the Hitchcock movie, but they were gonna kill each other's respective enemies, and that there would be no trail back to them, except Billy Crystal didn't want to do that, and Danny DeVito wanted his mother killed, so he wanted him to throw her from the train. Gotcha. But she called him Owen. By the end of the movie, we were ready to throw her from the train. So, all right, enough of a divergence there. Another crappy movie series, Allegiance, Divergence. Yeah, there we go. All right, back to the task at hand. Here's an interesting one. So, Cincinnati, Great American Small Park. We like to throw that term around. Only an 8 implied run total today. We have Freddie Peralta coming in at 10,500. That's paying full freight, but we're looking at a 33.9 implied run total here from the Reds. On the other side, you have Luis Castillo, who is checking in at 6,500. He struggled a little bit this season, but that's a great price point. We should see Yelich back in the lineup. Milwaukee mostly healthy. Colton Long a little bit dinged up. He has an okay history there against Castillo. But if we're talking against Castillo, we want to go with the lefties. However, at 6,500, I think I might be willing to roll the dice. What is your read on this? What do the advanced metrics say with Castillo's struggle? Real or fake?
I mean,
the jury's still out.
Real-ish. Like, can I just like hedge myself here? Just because his fastball isn't what it once was. He's down a little bit velocity. He's still not as bad as he looked in the beginning of the year. His last start was really nice. The strikeout rate only 19.8. I mean, I think that should rise. His swinging strike looks better than his strikeouts suggest. He's not walking many guys, which is always good. And like, I don't know, this Brewers lineup does not have a lot of power in it. With Yelich back in it, it's definitely tougher, but he does have a 36% strikeout rate this year, which is really high. I mean, it's a small sample, only I guess like 50 or so at bats for him this year. But yeah, his stuff does not look great as far as Yelich goes. Avi Garcia is like their best hitter, and then Omar Narvaez is like their second best hitter, which is weird to say for the Brewers, but they have actually really nice numbers. A lot of these guys strike out a lot. So I am high on Castillo today. I'm assuming he's not going to be like super low owned. Yeah, he's projected as 35%.
Yeah,
so he's your chalk pitcher today.
That price is too good, especially if people are looking at 2 and 3 year histories.
DK has just been underpricing him all year, right? And they've kind of been like, it's a trap, and it has been a trap more often than not. But yeah, I like Castillo here. I think this is the chalk that I will probably eat as far as him, just because you don't have many strikeout upside pitchers on the slate. I think my stand here is that Peralta is the stone chalk at 10.5, and he's been great this year. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just love the top of this lineup for the Reds. Winker, Castellanos, and Naquin have been so good. Winker's having like an MVP type year. 576x slugging, hitting home runs, 53% hard hits. So everything in the air, everything is hard, striking out only 20% of the time. Like, this is not a good matchup for Peralta. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. None of these guys really strike out. Castellanos 19%, Naquin 23%. The two guys that strike out are Suarez and Barnhart, both over 30%. But everybody else in this lineup doesn't really strike out much. So I think this is a spot where I'm going to go under on Peralta, even though he's been so good this year.
So you would think the pivot, if you're going to be spending on that, would be to look at
like a Wheeler. Yeah, especially like we got that lineup now, and JD's not in that lineup.
Okay.
We have Danny Santana batting second, which is never a good thing, and the Red Sox have to bat a pitcher today.
Hey, so their lineup run yesterday. Come on, he's locked in.
Yeah, Danny Santana. I don't know what is this like. He was with the Twins, right? That's when he was.
Oh, he's been with decent. Everybody, hasn't he?
Yeah, Twins, and then I think Texas.
Texas was in there. Yeah.
So this lineup looks really bad.
I thought he was with
Bogarts is not in the lineup either, EMac. So the Renfro's batting 5th. Bobby Dalbec is batting 7th. Vasquez is batting 4th. Devers is like the only good hitter in this lineup. So I'm going to go way over on Wheeler. But I'm sure people are going to up his ownership now that they saw this Red Sox lineup come out.
All right. Santana's played Minnesota, Atlanta, Texas, and now Boston. This will be just his 3rd game for Boston. He likes playing for the Red Sox. He has 2 hits. Both of them are home runs and a stolen base. Come on.
Maybe it's a resurgence.
I don't know. Age 30 season. Here we go.
2.5K if you want to play him against Zach Wheeler. I would suggest not to. Of course, he's going to get a home run now.
Oh, absolutely. That is a guarantee. That is a guarantee. Hey, let's think about a way where we can get you some free Awesemo premium content. How about you go check out the Awesemo Podcast Network? If you leave a 5-star review on any one of our podcasts, which are available on any podcast platform, put your Twitter handle or social media contact information in there, and you'll be eligible to win a free week of Awesemo premium content for leaving that 5-star rating and a review. What? That feels like a lot of work? Au contraire. You get to be in 52 one-week drawings because your rating and review will be eligible for a full year in this contest. Definitely check it out. Not nearly as many people are jumping in on this one as I had thought they would. So all you got to do, you guys know the copy paste function, right? You can leave reviews on Spotify and Apple. iTunes, the Apple Store, Google Play, all sorts of different places. Come on. I know you guys are on a budget. Here's an easy way to get 1 week of Awesemo premium content, or at least the chance for it. All righty. To the next game we go. Do we have a starting pitcher yet for the Mets? No, we do not.
Negatory.
We have Cody P coming in at 5,100. That is going to be an easy free square, in my opinion, on DraftKings. I'm hoping for 4 or 5 innings. I'll be fine with that. I'm hoping for about 15, as Gundacker likes to say. Give me 15 DKPs. That's a chip in a chair. That's all I need. I'm on board with that today. What are you thinking about this one? The Mets lineup getting a little bit thin compared to where they were just 3 weeks ago. We have Cameron Maybin back for what is he playing for? Team number 10 in his 15-year career.
Yeah.
What the hell? What the hell? He's in a prominent position.
Yeah. I mean, this lineup is bad. Like James McCann is projected to bat 5th.
Jordan Yamamoto is going to be starting.
Yeah, Yamamoto. There we go. Actually, isn't that a revenge game for him? Wasn't he with the Marlins at some point?
I think he was not only was he with the Marlins, I believe he was with the Florida version, not just the Miami Marlins.
Right.
Florida Marlins. That's where he started his career.
There you go.
Didn't he play for your Yankees? I know he played for the Mariners for a hot minute.
I don't think he played for the Yankees. I don't remember him.
All right, I'm going to go check that out.
These days.
Yeah, I'm going to go check that out. We do know that Yamamoto is starting. Any interest in him? Any interest in Cody P? What do you got for this?
Yeah, it's Cody P for me. I feel like at that price, he's going under owned. We only have him projected for 14%. And he's actually being projected as his top 2 pitcher percentage is 10%, which is decent for his price. You never see like a 5K guy being projected that high in our tool. 23% strikeout rate. This is a very small sample. X slugging given up only 287. Very nice. Hard hits at only 35%. Also very nice. Yeah, I think this is a really nice spot to get a guy that should give you some innings, should give you some strikeouts against a very weak lineup. So yeah, Cody P for me is definitely a guy I'm probably gonna try and get more than Luis Castillo even, just because we haven't seen Castillo's upside as far as strikeouts go. And he's gonna be like 3 times as owned, which is egregious in my opinion. So yeah, I think your strategy of just putting in Cody P is one I'm gonna go with today.
You know what's egregious in my opinion? The fact that you don't remember any one of Cameron Maben's 239 at bats for the Yankees.
Oh wait, you were talking about Maben? I thought we were talking about Yamamoto.
No, Maben, who's played for everybody.
Yamamoto, I mean, Maben was actually hitting really well for the Yankees.
He even had 9 stolen bases that year in
I love
82 games.
Yeah,
there we are.
We had a really nice year.
Let's see here. Oh, another offensive spot here. Atlanta. You got Ronald Acuna absolutely locked in. He is 6,000 on DraftKings.
Too cheap.
He's earned it. He's absolutely earned it. Leads the league in home runs. Has had a couple already this weekend, including a grand slam. He is going against JT Brubaker today. Oh, perfect timing. We just got the lineup there for that one. So we're going to have Acuna, Freeman, Ozuna, Albies, Riley, Dansby Swanson, William Contreras, and Guillermo Heredia.
Not Willem Dafoe, right?
Not Willem Dafoe. Well, between Wilson Contreras and William Contreras and Willem Dafoe and Wilmer Defoe, there's a lot of alliteration going on.
There's a lot going on, EMac.
But what do you got here for Atlanta? And then you got Max. Your fellow Max, 8,600. Is he worth it going against the Pirates, who have just a 3.5 implied run total today?
Yeah, so let's see where the Braves are in our top stacks tool. Only 5% owned, which I really like. Yeah, I mean, so Brubaker is your prototypical like ground ball guy. Launch angle given up only 7 degrees. So everything that's hit in the air against him is hard, almost 39% hard hits. And he's a little bit reverse splitish, which we also like to see when we're targeting the Braves, because most of their good hitters are from the right side, with the exception of like Freeman and I guess Ozzy Albies. I shouldn't be mean to Ozzy Albies in this spot. So yeah, I like the Braves here. I mean, Atlanta, it's hot. We saw what can happen when it gets hot there just the other day when they put up like 19 runs. So was it? Two runs short of 3 touchdowns.
I believe it was 20 runs.
It was 20. So it was, there you go. Just a missed extra point.
8 of them. 8 of them coming off of the aforementioned Defoe, who went out. He only allowed 1 home run. So did every other. The Atlanta hit 7 in that game. 2 grand slams. So yeah, wild.
Yeah, I love Acuna here. Acuna is in a great spot. Like his stats, even expected stats, which we usually like don't see. I've never seen. It's like video game numbers. 94.5 average exit velocity, 58.2% hard hits, 448x WOBA, and 656x slugging. He also barely strikes out, only 18%. His walks are almost as high as his strikeouts, 13% walks. This is a guy that's going to be a perennial MVP candidate. You know, if he keeps going, it's definitely like first ballot Hall of Fame type stuff. So yeah, I mean, Ozuna is picking it up again. I like to see that. I would definitely play him in the spot. And the guy that I always tout for the Braves is Austin Riley, especially against guys that aren't going to strike him out. The only problem he has is 27% strikeouts. He hits for power. He hits fly balls and line drives. I really love Austin Riley, and DK just never prices him up to like middle of the 4Ks. I guess he's 4.3K now after he's been hot for the last couple of weeks, but usually we see him in the 3Ks. So yeah, I love the spot for Riley, Ozuna, Acuna. Then you throw in like a Freddie Freeman and a Dansby Swanson, and it's a really, really nice upside stack.
All right, we got a bunch of stuff coming on today. Again, starting at 11, we do have the NBA Deeper Dive. That is going to be with Eton and Ryan. You know him best as Rinpack. They'll be breaking down the 4-game NBA slate for today. And then at noon, you're going to have Live Before Lock. Jason Floyd coming in with Eric Lindquist. 1:30, got Jason pulling double duty. He's going to be joined by Phil to break down the NASCAR race today. They're on the road course, so it'd be kind of interesting to see how that one plays out. I think there's just 68 laps, so not a lot of dominator points available. You're going to be looking at some place differential, but you can check all that out on their show. We also have some free articles for that. The projections, well, those are behind the paywall. And then at 6 o'clock tonight, another NBA Live Before Lock. You got Eton coming back. He's going to be with Terry breaking down the 2-game late slate for NBA playoffs. We got you covered for all of the DFS goodness. Speaking of goodness here, what are we doing with Chris Bubic going against Detroit? Detroit with the 4.2 implied run total feels a little bit high, as we were talking about pre-show. Maybe Miggy Cabrera. He had the 2 home runs the other day. He is on the Barry Bonds late career resurgence plan. I don't know, but what do you like in this one? Chance of scattered showers, roving showers. Shouldn't be anything to postpone the game, but we'll want to keep an eye on that. If they do a late start, it's going to be fine, is what the forecasters have said.
Yeah.
But we'll want to look at the pitching a little more closely when it goes off. What do you like or dislike from the Kansas City side?
EMac, I just want to backtrack a little bit to Freed because he's projected to be 26% owned today. I like him. I just don't know if I can pay that
86.
price in that ballpark. Like his hard hits are excellent, 36%. He is giving up like 447 x slugging, which isn't great, and only striking out 24% of batters. So I would put him lower on my list than some other guys, just because there's not a ton of upside at that $8,600 price tag. Pittsburgh is a bad lineup, but I don't think you need to hit the ball very hard here in Atlanta for it to go a long ways. So I just wanted to mention real quick that Freed is I think a little bit over-owned today.
Okay, and that is a good call out. Right now, he's got about a 15% chance to be a top 2 pitcher on DK. Of course, we have to start 2 pitchers there. He's got just a 7% chance of being the top pitcher on FanDuel. So your mileage may vary. It is baseball, but he is looking like he is what we would call over-owned. I see someone is asking, new member here, asking a couple questions about the how do we use the stacks tool. So Shelby, here's kind of how you want to utilize them. So baseball is an event-based variant sport. Mike Trout on any given day can go 0 for 4, or he could hit a home run and steal a base and be the top scorer on the slate. Anything's in play. You can have one of our 2K second basemen, maybe they get a couple extra base hits, and all of a sudden they're an amazing play. We don't know what's going to happen in baseball, but we try to provide probabilities, and that's essentially, who knew math was going to be so fun, but essentially this is just a game of probabilities. Well, the top stacks tool breaks that down for you. So if we look at the top pitchers tool, we have there's basically 3 metrics. We have the chance of the player being the top scorer on the slate. So there's 2 for Yahoo and Draftkings, 1 for FanDuel. We have the chance of them being the top value, that's points per dollar, and then we have the chance, or we have their popularity, the ownership. And what we were saying about Freed is, if we look at him on Draft or a FanDuel, he has a 7% chance of being at the top pitcher, but he's going to be on 14% of the rosters. Now that's not a ton, and we have 20 pitchers in action today, but what that is saying is he's probably twice as popular as he should be if everything went according to the median projections. You ever hear the phrase, that's why they play the games? Well, that's why they play the games, because we can't do everything on median projections. But what this is telling us is, where is the field and what can we do to target against that? Now, one thing you can do to target against that is not play the player. Or, because this is baseball, the other thing you could do is you could say, I'm going to selectively take 2 or 3 Pirates going against Freed that I think have an opportunity to do a little bit of damage. So you're getting those points while the Freed backers are losing those points. And that's called a leverage play. We can't really do leverage plays in basketball or football. It doesn't work that way. We still have the correlation of, receiver catching a touchdown from his quarterback. In baseball, we also have offensive correlation. Your guys get on base, your guy hits a home run, you gets the RBIs and the runs scored by the other players, etc. That's what we mean by a correlation play. So there's just a quick little tutorial on the top stacks tools. Anything you want to add on that? Because I do think this is the best tools that we have.
Yeah, the top stacks tool is like, just look at the leverage score, right? Like the right-handed most column. And you can see the stacks that are going to be over-owned, similar to the pitching, and stacks that are going to be under-owned. So I usually just take a look at who has the worst leverage score. And then if I'm making 150 lineups, I'm going to go under the field on that. And with the opposite of guys with a high leverage score, those are the stacks that I'm going to target more. So that's how I utilize the top stacks too.
All right. 300 people watching, just 40 likes. Come on. Max and I were up early getting ready for this to bring you guys the goods. We have 2 more NBA shows after us, and then a NASCAR show, and then another NBA show. Let's get it started here. Get us up. Come on, you 300 of you. We can get up to about 70, 75 likes.
Come on.
Triple digits would make me happy. But that's not, that might be a little bit lofty. Oh, I heard on the telecast last night, I didn't go back and check this. Which game was I watching? I think I was watching, maybe it was the Twins game. So I want to attribute this in case they were just pulling numbers out of their ass. They said the average fastball this year is 94 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit high for what I thought. This is also just the second.
The bullpens too, EMac. The bullpens all throw hard.
Right. This is the second year in the history of baseball, since they've been tracking it, that fastballs have not made up the majority of pitches. They're less than 50%. Last year was the first year that happened.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. Yeah, for sure. Everybody's trying to throw hard, and people have realized that even your hardest throwing fastball can go a long way when guys kind of know what's coming. So everybody just lives off the breaking ball now. And that's what you see with the really, really, really good pitchers. They don't throw the fastball much. It's kind of like a show me fastball. There's very few guys that will get a ton of strikeouts in their fastball. Mostly it's the breaking balls.
They were also, maybe it might have been the Mariners game, because they were talking about Paxton, who was injured, but they said, and that's what it was. But they were saying I think last year, was it with the Yankees? I think he was still with the Yankees last year. I can't remember. Yeah. Whatever his last year with the Yankees was, he had like 100 pitches that were in triple digits that season.
Really?
Yeah, it was some ungodly number. I'm directionally, this is correct. Don't fact check me, but it was one of those where they were like, yeah, it was the most in the league among starters, right? Because you got Chapman and a few other relievers that can touch there, but amongst starters, he had more than anybody else that year.
Yeah, DeGrom, I feel like would be the highest, just because the guy, he lives in the triple digits now with a fastball, but he's recently only discovered like that extra couple miles an hour. Like DeGrom definitely throws the hardest right now, I think, out of anybody.
Yeah, but those were interesting numbers. I was like, oh wow, that, because you kind of count. I mean, we know that what the league baseline strikeouts now is like 22% or something, right around there. Yeah, I mean, so when you see a pitcher, like, oh wow, he strikes out 25% of the hitters, it's like, yeah. and well, when I started doing DFS 10 years ago, that would be an eye-popping number. Now it's just like, and what would you like with that?
Exactly.
Would you like fries with that? Is the question. How are you feeling about Casey going against Bubic here?
Yeah, just like Bubic's expected stats are really good. He's like your crafty lefty ground ball guy. Like we just said, the average fastball is 94 in the league. He's averaging 91. So this is way, way under. Only 20% strikeouts, walks a little bit too many guys at 12%. Really nice hitting weather in KC, actually. Wind blowing out 78 degrees, and we're not sure if there's going to be a storm or not, like as EMac already mentioned. So Bubic is probably my third guy that I would target after Cody and then Castillo. He would be my third cheap guy. So I'm not sure I'm going to get to him, just because I think I'm going to play those two guys so much that the 15% owned Bubic isn't really going to enter into my builds too much. I mean, the Detroit lineup strikes out a ton, right? Like I think they're the second or the first with they're very close with the Rangers. as far as strikeouts go. They don't hit the ball very hard. Definitely a very good matchup for Bubic. I just don't see how much upside he can have here, and the weather is really good as compared to like where Poteet is pitching, which is in the Marlins Park with the roof there. Yeah, so Bubic is like a distant third for me. Casey Mize has picked it up. Came out this year. He's a really, really highly touted prospect. Just not striking out too many guys. Has picked it up last couple starts, but I don't know how much I trust that he's there already. And the Casey lineup, I've been saying all year, like this isn't the garbage Casey lineup we've seen the last couple of years. There's some really good hitters in this lineup. Merrifield, Santana, Benintendi. Santana and Benintendi are the two new guys they have this year. I really like them. They don't strike out much, 13% and 18% respectively. There's just not a lot of upside for Mize here. I would much rather play the lefties from the Royals in this spot.
Would it shock you to know that Bubic does not have a strikeout prop available today, at least according to OddsShopper? That's bizarre. Literally every other player does. But I did want to confirm what you're saying. Based on their at-bats over the last 2+ seasons, today's Detroit Tigers are striking out just shy of 28% against lefties.
Yeah. I think that's the second most. I mean, definitely they strike out a ton, but who's going to swing and miss at a 91 mile an hour fastball? You know what I mean? He's really going to have his breaking ball stuff working, but I just think that Poteet stuff is better. Yeah. Like his fastball is like 94, and the Mets lineup is just as bad as the Tigers for me. They don't strike out as much, nearly, but the park is just way better as well. Like I would much rather take guys in the Marlins Park than I would in the Royals Park at this point.
All righty, one more game to go. We do have a hard stop here because we are going to be followed by the NBA Deeper Dive and NBA Live Before Lock. Big contest today. I'm going to break down this last game. I also wrote it up in the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks. That is a free article that is available on the Awesemo.com homepage and under the baseball page. Every single day, I write up one stack for each slate. So I am oftentimes breaking down some teams that we probably wouldn't be playing on the main slate, but we would on the sub slate. This is helpful because there are a lot of short slate sports. There's some showdown stuff, and it helps you file away some of these teams for coming into different situations. So it's not always, and rarely will I write about Coors Field. I don't have to tell you guys to play the hitters in Coors Field. So I like to have a little fun. I do about 1,200 words a day, usually two, three, or four teams, depending on the size of the slate. Today, I just dropped that link in the YouTube chat. Today, one of the guys I want to pick on is Michael Fultonevich. So I said, while he has managed to avoid home runs in his last 2 starts, his 11 allowed this season are the second most in the league. This will be the second time in the last 10 days that he has faced Houston, which generally favors the hitters when they see the pitchers more frequently, much like you see a guy 2-3 times in a game. Same thing happens if you see him in relatively adjacent starts. Since the beginning of the 2019 season, Fulte has allowed a 248 ISO to lefties with just a 17.6% strikeout rate. Wow, that is pretty low in the context of what we just described. Same-handed hitters, boy, they're getting to him pretty well as well. 213 ISO with the 44% hard hit rate. The Astros, no, it's the obvious guys. It's the usual suspects, if you will. Bregman, Alvarez lead the way. Gurriel and Carlos Correa, both phenomenal in righty-righty matchups. And then Michael Brantley, never sexy, never exciting, rarely fails to produce, though. He's always getting a little something. Maybe it's an extra base hit. He scores a couple runs. He gets some walks, throws in a steal every now and then. He's like the most unassuming player ever, but he just keeps getting it done day after day. What do you like here in this game? I'm assuming it's the Houston Bats, and then take us through Javier, who has a lofty price point today.
Yeah, I mean, what if I told you Michael Brantley had a better X slugging than Jordan Alvarez, EMac?
Lies. The eye test. Look at the back of the baseball card. Come on.
Yeah, I love the Astros today. They're our top stack and our top stacks too. And they give you a good leverage score because they're not going to be as owned. Just because they're all expensive in this spot. But like we've mentioned a bunch of pretty cheap pitchers that you can go to today. I wouldn't mind stacking up 2 cheap pitchers even to get an Astro stack in. I don't think that's that bad. I don't think the the high price pitchers are like the types that we have with Biebers and Coles and Kershaws or whatever, that are going to give you that crazy score that you can't match with the cheap arms. I think that can totally happen today. So yeah, Astros are definitely my favorite stack. I mean, I don't need to give you the Fulton-Nevich numbers, but I will anyway. Only 19% strikeouts, 47% hard hits, 493x slugging. We love to see all of that. As far as Javier goes, he's our third projected top 2 pitcher, 20%, only 17% owned. So his top 2 pitcher percentage actually exceeds his ownership. I am going to give you a few notes here that are a little scary. X slugging of 435 and 42% hard hits. And this Texas lineup is not as bad as it may seem. Adolis Garcia is really good. Willie Calhoun is also very good. Nate Lowe, Solak, these are all good hitters. They all strike out a ton. So he can have a really, really nice score, or he can get blown up here in the spot. So this is a really good GPP play in Javier, I think. But it's not like a cash play for me, just because this lineup is dangerous.
All right, that is going to do it for us. Think about your top stacks. News God asked us for the top pitchers on FanDuel, top 3. I would say Zach Wheeler. Definitely, we've got enough value that we can get to him. He would be option number 1. Option 2 for me is going to be Cody P. And then probably number 3, it'd be a coin flip. This would not be my cash game pitchers, but Max Fried or Luis Castillo would be the guys I'm looking at, trying to chase some strikeouts.
Yeah, Wheeler definitely number 1 with that Red Sox lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got for your top stacks? Houston's up there, the Nationals, maybe the batters of Birdland. They got to sleep in their own beds last night because, this is the Beltway series. Don't I sound like I'm breaking down the hard-hitting analysis just like the color guys on TV. Houston, well, back when I played, when we slept in our own bed, we could hit. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. When they were popping greenies every 15 seconds. Houston, definitely number 1. It's not close. And then probably Toronto and Atlanta for me.
All right. With that, gamers, we're going to get on out of here and turn it over to the NBA stream. Check it out. It will be on the YouTube channel. Time for some pizza.
NBA. Pizza and NBA.
Pizza and NBA. It's going to be a good time. Little ice cream. I'm sensing a nap in my future this afternoon.
Beautiful.
It's an old guy Sunday.
I want to be EMac today. Let's switch.
With that, gamers, good luck.
Have a good one.